What's good, y'all? This is Robert Jackson. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. And today, we're just gonna cut right to the chase. Because right now we're here on this wonderful, beautiful Tuesday afternoon, and today we're gonna be chatting with somebody who is working in Canada, who has been in the VO scene for a while. So I'm pleased to have on Miss Katelyn Dawn up on the podcast. So thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, would you like to share more about yourself, a little bio, just fun facts, all that good jazz, and what type of work you've done, and all that good stuff?
Sure. Yeah, so I've been in VO for a couple years. I started out as a musician, singer-songwriter, and recording artist here. And so I spent a lot of time like from teenagehood up through where I'm at now, like recording my music. And basically, I just discovered you could do voiceover as a career, a valid option, even if you don't live in LA or New York a few years ago. And I thought, well, I love being self-employed. I love recording, so it just felt like a natural fit. And I did pretty intense training and I got my demos and I started marketing myself. And now we are here and, it's been really amazing. I've gotten some really exciting jobs lately, some national spots for McDonald's, L'Oreal. And my parents always said, we knew we'd hear you on the radio. We just didn't think it would be with voiceover. So it's really exciting times. And it's great when hard work actually pays off. Because as a musician, um, you can work really hard, but there's no guarantees ever in life. But with voiceover, I feel like it's a bit more tangible, it's a bit more attainable than being a full-time musician. So it's been really rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what got you interested into music, and how did you get started in the industry?
What got me into music?
Yeah.
Uh, well, I don't know. I was always singing growing up, and as a teen girl, growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, I was really inspired by like, Sarah McLachlan and Sheryl Crow and Jewel and all of these great female singer-songwriters. And so I learned guitar at like 14 and I, just was obsessed with like learning all the chords and I had written poetry a lot growing up. So it just kind of naturally was my like outlet during all of my middle school and high school angst and just fell in love with recording because you get to like really create something, add all these layers and like harmonies and different instruments. It just felt really, really rewarding and cathartic to do that. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got into music. And with voiceover, I was really bored in my current job circumstances. I had an Etsy store, and I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, you had an Etsy store? That's great!" But you're basically a glorified like production worker because it's the same thing that you do every day. So I did that for 5 years, and I was just like at my wit's end with boredom. And so I just searched acting classes in my city and stumbled across voice acting, and I thought, "Oh, that's neat," but I don't live in LA, so that's not even an option for me. And then I got voice acting for dummies because I couldn't shake this idea of voiceover. And in that book, it had said, you need to get good training, and they recommended Edge Studio. So I contacted them and I said, can I even do this? Because I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Like, can I do this from Winnipeg? And they were like, legitimately, you can do it from anywhere. So that kind of got me on to my training like journey. So yeah, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So, being a musician, and then, so you started out as a musician, like you said, and then you stumbled you, and then you kind of stumbled into the world of voiceover. How would you say that with the musician, like with the experience that you had, and how were you able to carry over those skills that you had prior, um, before getting your start into voice acting? How do you think that, when you made the big jump hurdle into voiceover, So, with the training that you had as a musician, how did you carry those skills into a whole new, different area of the industry? Like specifically going into a dipping your feet went into a new territory, so to speak.
Well, I when I was in high school, I learned like garage band. And so, and I by no means am like a brilliant audio producer, but I learned how to do like acoustic guitar and vocals and harmonies and stuff. And plus I went to college for web design. So I've had to learn programs like when I worked at an ad agency, when I was in school, and before that in high school, I was a big nerd with like Photoshop and the Adobe suite. So I think my brain is just kind of wired in that left right brain way of like being creative in a software. So I learned Logic Pro um a few years back just for, acoustic guitar and vocal and stuff like that. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to use Logic because I'm an Apple girl. So Logic is, you pay a one-time fee of like $300 or whatever it is, and you have it forever. And I like that. And it really goes with Apple well. And for me, because I'm a musician, it has really great, tools for music and so I used Logic, and I think I'm just kind of good at figuring out programs really quickly because I've had to do that so much. And so just all of the little things like, cutting this piece of a set of a phrase here, and I like the first phrase from this take, mixing that and just doing all of the audio polishing is something that I like, and I'm kind of a perfectionist. So, and then I get Isotope RX8, and then you go in with all the DS and like all of that. It's fun. Like I like being nerdy like that. And so those are kind of skills I already had in the editing and the cutting and the putting together and all of that stuff. And then the ear, like you have to develop an ear for what sounds good. So I think that's really beneficial if you're a musician coming into VO, if you already have a good grasp of what sounds good already. And what else? Uh, Vocal control, as a singer, if you have, like, I've been studying voice since I was maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 kind of thing. I've been in vocal training. And so knowing how to control your breath and like having deep breathing from your diaphragm and the melody that words and phrases can have, you know, it's just something I picked up on naturally, being a singer. So it can't hurt just taking some singing lessons and learning that kind of breath control and stuff. It's been very helpful, especially in live direction where they ask, can you do this differently? You can apply direction a lot easier if you really understand your instrument. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, since you mentioned that you're based in Winnipeg, well, I guess a Canadian voice actress, because I know that I've also done interviews with people who are based in Canada and from different parts around the world, and remote recording has definitely picked up since the pandemic. So my question to you is, has the pandemic like increased like since you've been doing a lot of work from home now, and if you have actually went back to a studio or stuff like that, I mean, I mean, feel free to share, but like, has the pandemic, have you, do you feel like your workload kind of started increasing and you've got busier, or has it kind of slowed down? Like, how would you say, how has the pandemic really changed or affected your lifestyle? Like, as far as your personal life and, working goes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I built my studio in 2019, in fall of 2019. And then 2020, I was like, okay, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to dive into training. So 2020 was my like intense training year. And then I've really only been marketing myself since 2021. So I think I was kind of coming off the big wave of people being like, hey, if you need to, I can record remotely. But I don't know. It's hard to say because I started like in the pandemic is when I started. So all I really know is pandemic times. But I worked from home before that, with my Etsy store and doing like freelance web and graphic design. I love working from home. It fits my personality really well. It just really seamlessly fit into my life. And I put a ton of effort into my vocal booth sounding like really good, because I'm from the musician side. I was like, audio quality will not be something that sets me behind. I was like, I have to have it sound good. So um I think it's been good because studios, you know, were probably feeling a little like, oh, shoot, all these people are going to be recording from home. Is that going to cut us out? But that's not the case at all. Because just because I'm recording with the studio, in Toronto or wherever it is. I need that engineer to do all of that stuff because I'm not an engineer. I'm a voice actor and I can't be, live editing and, playing that back for them and stuff. So, um, I think I think it's all good, I think we're all still working together really well, and people are open to voice actors with home studios. I haven't really had any issues or people say, "Oh, I only work with this studio or whatever," you know.
Okay. So, out of everything that you've done so far, because I know that VO has kind of been, um, something that's been, it's kind of sort of just the thing that you've been doing. Excuse me. Like it's a part of your new lifestyle since, for the past few years or so. Um, do you recall like any jobs or gigs that you've received that you recall as being absolutely just, or at least clients in general? Like, who would like, what would you say are some of the best or the most fun like voiceover jobs or gigs that you've done? And same could go for music too.
Most fun gigs. Well, I like anything commercial, like all of my McDonald's stuff I really like, because I think that's like my biggest strength is collaborating and having like a conversational vibe. So those are just good days, where I get to collaborate with like we've got the audio engineer and we've got the agency reps that are working on the thing, and then sometimes the clients jump in as well, and I get to like hear in the background what everyone's saying, and like I really like that. That's my favorite kind of job to do. Because it's collaborative and I'm not alone and I get like live feedback and it's super fun, and the scripts are fun because it's just like upbeat and happy, and like that's totally my vibe and super conversational. I think that's my like totally my wheelhouse. But I recently did one that is for the Humane Society, and I'm a dog freak. I love dogs. I have two dogs and like love them. So for me, that was really rewarding because I could just talk about dogs all day. So that one I'm really excited about too.
Yeah. So I guess since we're gonna be we're still, sorry, my words. We're gonna be talking about the business aspect of VO. So do you have any piece of advice, like when it comes to networking and making connections in the industry? Like, there's a lot of clients out there. There's so many casting calls that you see. So what's the best way to, um, like? What's the best way to approach yourself? Like, hey, I'm a voiceover artist. I do this and this and this without sounding like you're selling like, what's the best way to put it? Without coming across as desperate, pretty much. Or, yeah,
Um,
what's the best piece of advice that you have for when it comes to networking and whatnot?
Well, I would say my biggest overall piece of advice would be market how you enjoy marketing the most. You know what I mean? Because like if you hate emails, like don't do it. If you hate Twitter, don't do it. But if you love connecting with people on LinkedIn or something, or like whatever you feel like you will do that thing and do it consistently. And then the other thing is when I reach out to people, I never feel like I'm being annoying or whatever, because like I know the value that I bring to the table, and as a pro, you'll know there's other people out there who aren't pros, you know. There's people out there who don't have the training that you have, or they don't have the audio quality that you have. Um, so you know you're bringing value, and you know they need that, and you want them to make something that's good. So for me, when I'm marketing, I'm just like, I know my value, and I'm bringing you something really, really, really valuable. And you can work with me if you want to, and if not, perfect. It's one less person I have to worry about reaching out to. But it's having like that confidence in yourself and knowing like why you're marketing. And for me, it's like, well, I know that I will bring a lot of value, and I'm really good at what I do. And yeah, and then like a motto I live by is live passionately and live authentically. So if you're doing what you're passionate about and you're being authentic to who you are in all of your, you know, email lingo or whatever, that's all you can do. So just be consistent with it. And if what you're putting out there is authentic and you're passionate about what you're doing and you believe in yourself, um, it's all about mindset and being positive and having faith that it'll just work out if you keep working hard.
Yeah. So what are some hobbies that um you've either picked up over the course of the pandemic, or it's just stuff that you've always really enjoyed doing outside of work?
Well, my hobbies, I recently got into gardening, like food gardening. So we built like 4 raised garden beds and got like seed starting stuff. So I have like lights and like little seed starting containers, and then you like buy the seeds, and you have the soil, and then you put the seeds in the soil, and then you have like a heat mat, and then you put the light over top of it, and then the seeds germinate, and then you have like, we had like a greenhouse inside our house in the middle of spring and winter and stuff, and things were growing. And then yeah, it's really fun watching stuff grow. And now I've got tomato plants that are taller than me. It's crazy, and I'm like 6 feet tall. um so I love gardening. I love walking my dog. Hello, Toby. This is Toby. He's my life. Yeah. And he's like, don't do this. Let me just sleep on your lap. Also, my husband and I, we bought 2 acres just outside the city. So we've been planning our dream house, and we want to have like a little orchard and like a little homestead farm. So we're just like learning all about farming and permaculture. And yeah, I love new life and gardens and plants, and makes me happy.
Yeah. So it says on I'm looking at your website, and um, people have asked you, what do you think led you to begin such a successful path? And I really do like your answer because, I mean, everyone's journey is totally different, but it just really all comes down to hard work and confidence and I mean, talent is one thing, but if you're just a genuinely nice and humble and a great person to work with, as well as putting in the work, then it's definitely all going to pay off. That's pretty much what you hear for um, like a lot of actors that you speak to, and it doesn't just apply for acting. It can apply for, well, singing, writing, many different various avenues in show business. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of determination, and certainly there is a lot of rejection that happens. So I guess the other thing is learning how to take it like a champ, because I know that for like every job you book, you're gonna get like 100 no's whenever you send out an audition. Like even in a live direction, like in a live session, it's bound to happen that they're gonna choose someone who may it's whatever what they see within the project, if their voice print fits that specific commercial print or a character role or just anything. So I think that's the number one thing. That's one of the biggest things to keep in mind for all of the actors out there that want to get into this. um, Develop a thick skin and have fun. there's a lot more to go into this. Honestly, there's a lot of websites and resources that you could look into, but that's just my advice. Just that's just my 2 cents. Take it with a grain of salt, and like, don't have to agree with me, but I mean, it's pretty much I'm just speaking my mind. That's what I like to do. So
Yeah, no, it's sure. I mean, rejection is definitely, it's not easy. Like if you want a quick buck, VO is
don't
not
do
for
it for the money. Yeah.
don't do it for the money. You got to do it because it's like this is a lifestyle that you want. I bring a travel rig with me when I travel in case, a client comes back with a change request. Like not always, but a lot. And but you know what? It's I did a sales job when I lived in Toronto where I it was selling like little spa packages for different salons and spas in various little towns and stuff. And it was like literally a door-to-door, business to business, like people random on the street talking to them, trying to sell them the spa package. And I had like a little TD Bank debit credit machine in my purse. Got kicked out of a lot of places. Um, but it's a numbers game. Like that was a numbers game. We knew like if I talk to 100 people today, I'll probably make 10 sales. You know what I mean? And so I don't know if it was like that job plus already being in music, which is brutal. Like I did Canadian Idol when I was 19 and I made it really far, but I mean during that whole process you get like verbally assaulted by these judges. um Basically my point is it's a numbers game. And you just got to keep going. I've had weeks where I have barely anybody get back to me being like, yeah, I like your demo. I'll keep you in mind. But I don't care because I'm on a mission, baby. I'm on a mission to make what I want to have happen in my life become a thing. So I think you just have to, it's hard to not get down when you get rejected. But I think, I don't know, if you believe in yourself and you want your life to be voiceover or acting or music or whatever it is, you just gotta like have the blinders on to the bad stuff as much as possible and just keep moving forward. That's, you'll start to see good results. And then that gives you even more oomph to keep going and it just builds on itself. And yeah.
Yeah. So I also see that you've done a lot of posts, like a week in the life of voice actor, what to expect in a live direction session, and a Super Bowl. So, are you planning any more like vlog style posts, like just giving advice to other actors that are just curious to know what it's like, what the whole lifestyle is like behind the microphone and all that good jazz?
Yeah, I definitely do want to post more videos. Part of it is I just get so busy with like keeping up with the auditions and the projects and the marketing I'm already doing. And as someone who lives in Winnipeg, you may know our summer is only 3 months long and it's a beautiful summer. So I've given myself freedom to enjoy it and not work as hard. But as fall comes, I do really want to do more videos because I enjoy that. Like I said earlier, if you hate Twitter, don't do it. But if you like something, do it. I like Instagram, I like YouTube, and I like LinkedIn. So I'm like, for whatever reason, people have started watching my YouTube videos and are subscribing to my channel, which kind of blows my mind because I'm like, how is that even a thing? How do people care at all what comes out of my face? But it's great. Like I really enjoy helping people. And someone recently put a comment on one of my videos that they just finished recording their first audiobook and that I was a channel they subscribed to. And thanks for helping. And like that's so cool, you know? So I really enjoy doing that. Yeah, I will definitely post more videos. And if you want to give me ideas or anyone's curious about a certain thing, I haven't been doing this for 20 years. I've only been doing this for a few years, but um I still have a lot of life experience that I can share and a decent amount of experience in voiceover already. So yeah,
Yeah,
happy to share.
audiobooks. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally for sure. Yeah, but yeah, I've talked to a lot of people who do audiobooks and it's kind of one or the other from what I've heard. And as someone who recorded like auditions and I've done like maybe a few samples. Like it is a lot of work and a whole bunch of editing. And I mean, it does pay well, for sure. And if you want to check out some of the past like episodes that I've done with audiobook narrators and people who also work in um like e-learning and explain, which you kind of also do, I know for a fact. So definitely check out those past stuff that I've done. So I guess as far as audiobooks go, it's if you want to do it, then go for it. If it's not for you, then yeah,
You'll pretty quick. I think you'll know pretty quick if it's for you or
yeah,
not.
yeah. You'll exactly. I mean, it's kind of like with everything in life. If it's not for you, then I mean, it's kind of like throwing stuff at a wall to see what sticks. You know, some it's if it sticks, it's not you're not gonna get like the same results for everything. Like if something doesn't vibe or gel with you, then and if it doesn't give you happiness or joy, then there's no not don't bother pursuing it further because you'll just probably be miserable.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, let's see. And I know I've already done like interviews where I've talked about the union joining SAG and yeah, getting into the whole nitty-gritty of being a unionized actor. So, yeah, but working non-union though, I mean there is a lot. I mean there are pros and cons about both, but for you as a non-union actor, so I guess what I want to ask you is, what are some of the pros and cons about, working in a union compared to being a non-union, um, actress or actor, whatnot?
Well, I can't really speak to being a union actor because I'm not one, but
Okay.
um, I'm non-union at this point because, I mean, just with the industry, there's way more opportunity for non-union versus union, and especially the type of work that I pursue. It's like working a lot on like commercial and corporate video and stuff like that production companies would do. And I mean, they're not a lot of them aren't going to be working with union, but I'm also working on pretty big brands in Canada here because like my agent is so wonderful, and there's been a huge shift in the union non-union scene here in Canada recently, which I'm not well versed enough to discuss, but you can Google it. um there's just been some really great opportunities coming up in Canada for non-union talent. And I don't like the idea of being limited, if an opportunity presents itself and I can't do it just because, of that whole aspect. I believe in a right to work. So, but on the other hand, I can definitely see a huge benefit for being union, especially in the States. Like in Canada, we have free healthcare, but that's a big decision. And so, I mean, you've got lots of other things that you have to consider in the States, and it's totally dependent on what fits each person and what genre you're in. You know what I mean? If all you're doing is, stuff that there isn't really work in the union for anyway, but if you're doing audiobooks and like, yeah, I only want to do audiobook or whatever, maybe that's the right call for you. So yeah, I don't really have much to say on the topic, because I've really been enjoying just being non-union. And non-union doesn't mean like non-pay well. You know what I mean? I am a very much proponent of charging what you're worth, and I use the GVAA rate guide, and so charging what you're worth, being non-union doesn't mean bad pay,
Yeah.
right?
So, what are the pros and cons of having a social media presence when it
Well,
comes for business and whatnot?
social media,
Social.
yeah, social media is one of those like things that's like I don't know, I feel like everyone really struggles with it because it's such a you have to put so much time into it, and it's like, well, does it actually do anything for me? You know? Um, but I've become a little bit more laid back with my social media stuff, especially over the summer, just posting more of like my mom, like my life, like what I'm actually up to, and just a bit more genuine. I put a lot of pressure on myself to have a really strict like schedule and like, what am I going to say? And that's good, but so is being genuine and just, this is who I am. Pros would be you get to keep up with what kind of companies you're working with, what they're up to, and connecting with the VO community. That's huge. I love connecting with the VO community. Cons, it takes a lot of time. And do you actually get anything out of it, right? Like you have to kind of look, where are you putting your time and are you seeing results? So that's always something you got to consider. You know, if you're spending 10 hours a week doing social media, are you getting clients? Right?
Yeah. Mm, that's a thought to linger on. Something to munch on for the day. So yeah. But yeah, since we're approaching the end of this fun little episode, let's see. Do you have anything that you'd like to share? You want to talk about? Any future plans? Just, I mean, of course, without breaking the NDAs, of course. Don't want to get you in trouble. Nope, that
Hmm.
would not be good.
I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
bad at
future
picking
NDAs.
topics.
Yeah.
Hmm? I don't know. I can't think of anything like
Yeah.
burning to talk about. I'm going to my first voiceover conference in a few weeks. I'm going to VO North,
It sounds like a lot of
and,
fun. I wish I could go.
that's really exciting because my yeah, I'm so pumped. So it's like I've done this whole journey just, connecting with people virtually. So I'm actually going to go to Toronto and meet my own kind of person. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. So, do you have like, what's your last piece of advice? Like, anything that you want to close us out on? Like, the, what type of, I know you've given like a lot of good, useful information, but if you were to close us out on one last piece of advice to all my listeners out there who are interested or who have aspirations to do the same thing, just anything they want to do in life, or just life advice in general, what would it be and
Well, I have two ideas. In general, life advice, it's all about mindset. I think you need to have, if you're going to be a creative entrepreneur, you have to have a burning ball of purpose in you, and you have to know why you're doing what you're doing, and you have to believe in yourself more than anybody else believes in you. You have to have that, like if you think of your body, it's getting a little weird, but if you think of your body and your gut is like this entity, that gut, you got to rely on it, and it's got to be strong because is so much adversity. And for me, I don't know if it's just been my life experience, but when adversity comes, it doesn't crumple that, it's like water off a duck's back, because it's like I have my purpose, so you got to find that thing that you're like, that's my purpose, and no matter what happens, I'm fine because this is happening because it has to, like that ball of gumption, you got to find that in yourself, and then you will be successful if you have that, because there's just no other option. You will be if you've got that thing. um and then my biggest piece of advice for voiceover is get with a reputable coach. Like learn the business, learn the craft. Because you could have the best microphone, you could be the best emailer, you could be a social media superstar, whatever. All that doesn't matter if you can't do the job well. So, and get good advice. So I would say find a reputable coach if you're just getting started, because that's more important than anything else. Yeah.
right? Yeah. So do you want to plug in your social media and just other platforms we can follow? We can check out your work and possibly
Yeah.
stalk you on.
Yeah, you can stalk me online if you're nice. No haters
I
here.
am.
Katelyn Dawn VO is my Instagram handle. LinkedIn, I'm just Katelyn Dawn. And on YouTube, it's Katelyn Dawn voiceover simplified, I think, something like that. That's my YouTube handle. And I think I'm just gonna get rid of Facebook and Twitter because I just don't I don't know the Twitter. I don't do the tweets. I don't do it. So In
Right.
Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube. Those are the places you can find me.
Right. Yeah. So would you like to do an outro for the podcast?
Sure, what's the outro?
You could just say, my name is Caitlin Dawn. I do this and this and this, and you're watching the Station Squared podcast. Square, not squared.
Station Square. Okay, Station Square podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Caitlin Dunn, and wait, oh my God. Okay, I'm scared.
Yeah, I do do the stuff that you kind of do, and then you're watching the podcast, Station Square. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna move this down. Okay. Hi, I'm Caitlin Dunn. I am a voice actor, and you're listening to the Station Square. Okay, God.
I'm a voice actor and musician.
Voice actor music. Okay. I'm Caitlin Dunn. I'm a voice actor and musician, and you're listening to Station Square Podcast.
There we go. We got it. So, yeah, any last words, farewells, goodbyes, or anything?
Just keeping creative and kicking ass.
Hey. So
Yeah.
with that said, yeah, what she said. Thank you for watching the Station Square podcast. This will be up, if not later today, then most likely tomorrow. So stay tuned. Keep on the lookout for my social media. All of it will be linked in the description. Way too many to list a name at the moment. But yeah, um, as I said before, thanks for watching and or listening, and I shall see you all next time. And until then, have a lovely rest of your day, evening, night, whichever time zone you're in. And I'm out of here. Peace. Yeet. Woo! Bye. Love y'all. Take care. Stay safe and healthy. And yeah, keep kicking butt out there. Peace.
Okay.